Well, I didn't do my normal Friday live here on YouTube. Getting ready to have a busy week coming up. Our church has a day camp, and I am the director, the activities director. So there was a lot to do to get ready for that. And so it'll be a busy week going into next week. And we have been proverbially in this like drought here where I am. The weather's been gorgeous every single day. And now next week, when I need 3 days of pristine weather for this outdoor day camp, you guessed it, 100% chance of rain is predicted Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So, those of you that pray, if you would pray that the weather cooperate for the camp that I'll be running next week, I would certainly appreciate that. But that's why I was not on live yesterday, getting things ready for this camp that is coming up. So it will be a busy week next week. But of course, I had to come live today and talk about what everybody is talking about. Donald Trump indicted, espionage. Even his valet has been indicted. We all knew this was coming. 48-page indictment, 37 charges, and of course, over at Faux News, formerly known as Fox News, political analysts are saying, oh, this is much more serious than what's happening here in Manhattan with Trump and the alleged groping. This is big. He's really done it this time. You got Chris Christie out there sniping at him. Go away. Mitt Romney, he should have just given them back when they were asked. See, this just shows you what a rhino and know-nothing witness protection Romney actually is. This is not about documents. This is not about were they or weren't they classified. Did Trump have unilateral authority to declassify whatever he chose to declassify? That's not what this is about. Why didn't he just give them back when they asked? Because the moment he gave them back, they would have gone after him. The moment he gave them back, they would have gone after him. This is not about paper. This is about Donald Trump. Let me say it again. It's not about paper. It's not about documents. It's not about where he kept them or how he kept them. It's not about the information contained on those sheets of paper. This is about Donald Trump, period. They don't want him to be president again. They can't beat him in a straight up, legitimate, fair election. Can't do it. And they know there is going to be all kinds of scrutiny over this election based on everything that happened in 2020. So the only way they can beat Donald Trump, they have got to somehow, pardon the pun, trump up charges in a way to keep him from running. That is all this is. Now, let me be really clear. There is a chance he could be found guilty. There is a chance he could see jail time, which will be interesting. How do you jail a former president who gets, Secret Service protection for the rest of his life? Are they really going to put him in an actual prison? Will they put him under a house arrest and hit him with heavy fines? Because when you read the indictment, every one of those has, maximum years that can be a prison sentence. I think 10 years is the highest. All of this culminates to like a 150-year prison sentence, and or he can be fined. This is all about you can't run. You can't be president again. Geraldo Rivera, showing what an absolute know-nothing buffoon and moron he is. So, Trump should just strike a deal and say, listen, I will bow out of the election. Just give me full immunity. Oh, so you don't think that's problematic that the Biden DOJ successfully tampered with an election, coercing I quit, I give up, I'm not running, and just walk away? It's no mistake that the news broke, the indictment broke, on the very day we have the smoking gun evidence from the FBI that Joe Biden got a $5 million bribe from Burisma to call off the dogs that were going after Burisma, i.e., Hunter Biden and their work in Ukraine. And remember, we've got the video of Joe Biden over there basically saying, I'm not giving Ukraine your aid unless you fire this guy. Who's the guy? The prosecutor. We all know Biden, Hillary, Obama, they're all compromised. They're all corrupt. This isn't about corruption. If it was, Hillary'd be in a jail cell right now. Email servers, anyone? Biden has taken over 18,000 documents. He wasn't even president. He had no authorization to take anything. But of course, what are you going to do? It's not about justice. It's not about saving the democracy. It's not about all of this farce, this smoke and mirrors. This is about pulling Trump off the campaign trail, forcing him to appear in court. They know they're never going to separate the MAGA from Trump. They know that. What they're hoping to do is a steady beat down that it becomes Trump fatigue. That the average Republican, the average moderate and independent will just say, you know what, if he gets elected, then what? How many more indictments are coming? What? The drama with these people over Donald Trump just never stops. You know what? I just can't take it anymore. I just can't take it anymore. That's what they're hoping for. That's why you've got like 25 people now running for the GOP nominee to be president. They're hoping that something takes Trump out and there's a way in for all of them. Yeah, Bullhawk. Bolton, nobody wants you. Asa Hutchinson, what do you think you're doing? And Mike Pence, you lying, traitorous scumbag. Stop calling yourself a Christian. It denigrates those of us who are. And please, please, shut up. Go away, you traitorous, lecherous individual, you. And I don't know what kind of deal you worked out with the DOJ to skate on any of this, but obviously you apparently are going to be willing to be that witness that will come in if it comes to a J6 indictment and say, yes, he incited a riot. Yes, he did that. He was trying to coerce me into overturning the Constitution. That's Mike Pence. Chris Christie's there to be the assassin. He stands no chance. Ron DeSantis walks a curious line here because he's got to be careful about not, quote unquote, over supporting Trump, but he can't go along with this farce either because you understand, take out Donald Trump's name and insert any non-establishment politician, and this is how they're coming for him. You could flip it and say if Bernie Sanders had ever really posed any serious threat to gaining the White House, they would have done this to him. Any non-establishment, any upend the status quo, anyone not part of that inner sanctum oligarch. That's all this is. Now, they have a Trump-appointed judge on this. I have no inside baseball on this. I am making a best guesstimate that judge is compromised. That way, when they find him guilty, they could say, see, even a Trump judge saw how awful this is and how he deserves to be punished and how he should never be president. That's all this is, drag this drama out. Drag this drama out. I will say this to the Trump campaign. If they do perp walk him in Miami and take his picture, you need to slap that picture on a t-shirt. I am promising you that will go nuclear viral. Everybody will want that t-shirt. On the short term, this obviously is going to give Trump another bump in the polls because he is being perceived now as a target. He is being perceived now as a victim. Um, but every Trump supporter, you got to understand, there is a real strong likelihood that the only way they see they can actually stop him is to not just indict him, to not just drag this out in the courts through the election cycle, but to literally incarcerate him. To fix it in such a way that, yep, he actually has to see the inside of a jail cell. And then, of course, they will love saying, oh, the irony in 2016 when all of his crowds were chanting, lock her up, lock her up. Who is it that gets locked up? The guy who was not part of the political establishment. The guy who was not part of the oligarch. The guy who was never supposed to be there, but got there and won it straight up, won it legitimately. And then you tried to make it look like it was Russian collusion. And the whole time knowing that was a farce and lying to the American people and spending hundreds of millions of dollars on investigations and special counsel and probes, 2 failed fraudulent impeachments. And Donald Trump's the guy under indictment? Hillary Rotham Clinton lets diplomats die in Benghazi because the optics wouldn't have looked good for Obama's re-election. And Donald Trump's the guy under indictment? Hillary Rotham Clinton, who lost 50,000 emails, had her hard drives scrubbed, staffers smashing cell phones, etc., etc., etc. And Donald Trump's the guy under indictment? James Comey couldn't bend over far enough to explain why they just couldn't prosecute Hillary. And now James Comey is making the rounds on the Sunday shows. And he is saying, thank God we have Joe Biden. He's got to run. It can't be anyone but Joe Biden. And Donald Trump's the guy under indictment, not James Comey. This is where Trump supporters have got to stay strong, stay united, and we got to make sure, no matter what happens, our guy gets in. Dan Bongino is floating a theory that I hope he's wrong about. On the one hand, you would think certain alphabet communities or agencies would be talking about a JFK scenario. But they don't want the guy to be a martyr. That they could not live with themselves. They're trying everything. They've tried impeachments. They've tried collusion. They are now indicting him over literally anything and everything. But here's Dan Bongino's concern. Will the Secret Service begin to back off in their protection of him? You already have the DNC and some of the Republicans running for president saying, you know, Donald Trump with his full security detail when he shows up places, he looks presidential. That's because he was a president. And it's a really unfair advantage. He's got this optics of, you know, the Secret Service everywhere and, you know, the motorcades and that's just not right. It's not right. We can't compete visually against that. And so there is this push, even in the GOP primary, you know, maybe there should be less of a Secret Service present at Trump rallies as to not give an unfair visual effect to the former president. Are you kidding me? We know where this is headed. The question is, do we have what it takes to stay the course with him? Donald Trump has my vote. I see many of you chatting live that Donald Trump has your vote. Thank you. Thank you. Let's do everything we can to expose this farce for what it is but to understand that we need to stick with Trump. Period.